We don't just sow, we cultivate dreams. Woo. In the soil where the sunlight gleams. Every root, every leaf, a part of the plan. A legacy born from the touch of our hands. Roots in the fire, hearts in the ground. We grow what we love, we spread it around. No need for permission, no waiting in line. We build our own freedom, one seed at a time. Roots in the fire. Roots in the fire.
All right, g'day everyone and welcome back to the Terpene Table. Tonight we are opening up with a new little segment that we've got hopes to keep rolling, and it's called A Chat with a Gardener. Now, the goal of this series is no experts, no hype, just a regular home grower talking about how they got into it and a bit about their craft and taking us through it. So tonight we have our special guest, ArkaTek, joining us. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good guys. How you going?
Yeah,
Thanks for
good.
having me.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, and of course we have our regular host with us, John Doe.
How is everyone?
We're hoping we're all good. I think I'm just going to kick things off quickly here, and I'm going to ask us, what are we enjoying tonight, mate?
Ooh, I'll go first with that one. I was just enjoying some mango fuel.
Oh, beautiful. I have had the pleasure of sampling that, and it is absolutely delicious.
Very nice. I'm having a little break at the moment. I'm kind of off it due to work stuff. Got to be careful with some of the testing going around. So yeah, just taking a little break.
Fair enough. A little tea break doesn't hurt every now and again.
That's right.
Oh, you gotta look after the income as well.
Yes, yeah, it's important.
Yep, prioritise, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's all right then. No stress at all. All right, we'll fire off with the first question then. What first sort of got you interested in cannabis, do you think, mate?
Probably when I was a younger lad, like sort of 15, 16, just mates in school. I've always been a bit of a sort of a stress head, a little bit anxious, and yeah, one of my mates one day was like, "Hey, mate, have a go of some of this," and yeah, ever since then, it's sort of been one thing that sort of helped me calm down a bit, and yeah, it lowered some of that anxiety for me. So yeah,
Yep. And you sort of know at that age. I think subliminally you know that this is it, and
yeah,
it never
for
leaves
sure,
you,
man.
does it?
Yeah, that's right. And like I probably had a few years off of it myself. Sort of after high school, I didn't think about it much, and then yeah, sort of reconnecting with some old mates. Yeah, got back into it, and ever since then,
Reconnected with the plant.
yeah, that's right. Been on and off since, and then probably the last sort of 3 or 4 years, been sort of pretty invested in it, and it's been a regular part of my sort of weeks.
Lovely.
Yeah, beautiful, mate. Beautiful.
And what do you remember what that was that you partook in all those years ago?
Mate, it would have been we were behind the skate park and had the old gator bug out the back there. I can't say what strain it was, man. It would have just been a bit of bushweed or something, like
Yeah.
whatever young kids could get their hands on. It was nothing special. Definitely, when I started growing my own, and sort of comparing that to what I used to get, like it blows it out the water for sort of strength wise and whatnot. So that was a bit of adjustment, but that's okay.
Whatever a mate's uncle used to have, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. What was in your mum's bloody top drawer?
Yep, exactly. Love it. What made you actually get into growing it yourself rather than buying it? Like, what was your that made you take that step?
I think part of it was pretty sort of difficult to. Well, I don't know about difficult, but it was sort of hard to find consistent stuff that was good.
Sort of circling back to what you were saying about your own stuff blowing you out of the water compared to that stuff, like.
Yeah, that's right. Like sort of We did have a few cracks at some bag seed grows out in the bush
Yep.
when I was a bit of a younger lad. A few of them were successful. A few were a bit sort of how you going and failed or got eaten by whatever. Yeah, my first sort of indoor grown cocoa, like yeah, the first time I smoked that, I was like, Jesus, what is this? Compared to what I was getting off my mates and whatnot. Yeah,
Back to that old school days of that hydro versus bushweed, and everyone's hydro blows your mind sort of thing. And it's like, yeah, okay, I knew what they were talking about now. Like,
yeah, yeah, that's right. Probably more like your hydro growers are probably a bit more selective of their strains and whatnot than say the old bushweed that's just old mate that's been chucking the same seeds for years and years.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got all sorts of stuff mixed in it with it being the old bushweed. It'd have all your eucalypt flowers and everything. I remember that when I was a young fella.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Some of the old mix ups, eh?
Oh, just from being outside, it was all
Yeah.
sprinkled over it, and
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
definitely smell the difference.
You've been
Uh,
hiding under those trees for, how long?
yeah.
oh man. Um,
So, so what did you dive into first? Did you go straight into the cocoa or outdoors or?
yeah, so my first grow was in cocoa in a little small tent I used to have. So
Yep.
that was I used to have a wheelie bin full of that I'd mix up with newts and a pump, and I'd just yeah run to waste with that through the cocoa through a feed ring.
Yep.
Um, I did that for a little while, and then I had a crack. About a year ago, I had a crack a few times in one of those little V grows, those Vivo Sun, the little cabinet
Yep.
things.
What did you
They were in
think of that?
cocoa. Uh, it was all right. Like it grew nice plants. The smell control was a pretty big issue. Like I just had it in my little sort of study game room sort of thing, and like it was all right through veg. But once you got into flower, man, like I could smell it in the driveway, sort of thing,
Ah,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
was not
So they need
ideal.
a bit of a carbon filter upgrade.
Yeah, like it's a real small carbon filter, and like the airflow in there was hard to keep humidity down. It just didn't really have the sort of vent control on it. And then yeah, my current setup's my big living soil run with blue mats feeding it, and that's probably what I'm going to stick with for sort of the foreseeable future at the moment. It just works for me.
And you just water only and like top dressing and amending, or how are you running that?
Yeah, so I got my top dress schedule, which sort of one's for veg, one's for sort of your pre-flower, and then sort of your late flower top dress, and then in between it's just some little sort of compost teas and some of the HPO gear. I've been using some of that stuff, and yeah, try to keep them ticking along. Pretty happy. They're big 50 litre pots, so I mean they're not massive for as far as soil goes, but they seem to keep them pretty happy.
Yeah, cool. Still plenty of like microbial life and things happening in there. So
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
what do you think of the blue mat system for those pots?
Um, they're really good. I will say they take a little bit to dial in, but once you've got them sussed out and dialed in, man, they are very, very hands off. Like you don't need to touch them once you got them going good.
Yep.
But yeah, they're a bit finicky. My first attempt, which was my last grow with them, so this is only my second grow in soil. Um, that flooded a couple of times because I just hadn't set them properly and whatnot. But I think I've kind of got them sussed out now. I haven't had any issues with this current grow. Both plants are pretty happy and charging along. So yeah.
Lovely. And what are you about your res for it? Are you going like a bigger res up high to get that gravity pressure?
Yeah, so I work away a lot. I'm sort of constantly in and out the house for my job, so I got to be pretty hands off. So
Yep.
I've got a big 80 litre reservoir, which does sit like up on a sort of shelving rack, and then above that I'll have two 20 litre buckets that feed in on a float system.
Yep.
So they kind of keep that head pressure stable, which is a bit sort of nicer on the blue mats, keeps it a bit more consistent. So you constantly got sort of around the same head pressure feeding into those blue mats.
Great idea.
And very similar with my humidifier. I've got a bucket, a 20-litre bucket for that too. That's just on a float in the tent.
Yep.
And that keeps the humidifier topped up as well when I'm sort of away working.
Beautiful.
you don't.
Sounds like you got it dialed in. Sorry, mate. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're right, mate. Yeah, yeah. You don't want anything to be. It sounds pretty stable for when you're away. There'd be nothing worse than being away and having a look at the garden and something running out.
Oh, for sure, man. And like I'm generally away for at least a week at a time, so it's a very hands-off approach for it. But I haven't had any issues so far with the living soil being away from home. So yeah.
Yeah, so that was what I was going to circle back to. Is I was going to say, is that what sort of made you settle on living soil as opposed to cocoa? Just for that sort of more hands-off approach. Don't have to worry about, newts going rotten in a res or over the week or things like that.
Yeah, 100%. That was sort of my main goal for it. So I was tossing up between going the auto pot route, and leaving that for a week with your cocoa and newts, but just the amount of times I've had newts going off and that over the course of a week and come home with your pH is spiking or
Hmm.
it's nice and stinky in a layer of sort of algae floating around and whatnot.
Yep.
So the
It's
living soil just
died or aeration's died or something's happened. Yeah.
yeah, that's right, man. You got pumps running and all sorts. So Um, the living soil just made sense. I could just be hands off. I don't really have to touch it. Like for at the moment, like the only thing I need to do in there is go and top up my buckets every now and then, which is like I could not even look in the tent half the time if I wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, living soil, perfect for that sort of thing. Feed the soil and it feeds the plants. So perfect.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
So you're saying that this was your second soil run, was that right?
Yeah, that's correct, mate. Yep.
So what do you think that this run is a bit better than the last run, like your first run, being an older mix, or same as the first?
So I sort of I was running easy as organic soil my first run, and
Yep.
I will say I kind of underfed her a little bit, and plus being small pots, she was a hungry strain, so I did struggle with that. But I switched over to HPO for this run, so it's fresh soil again, and this soil I'll be keeping a bit longer, and I'm just trying to stay a bit more on top of the amendments,
Yep.
and keeping it happy, which seems to be going good so far. Like the plants in there at the moment are happy as, yeah, no stress at all.
Yeah, beautiful. That's what we like to hear, mate. That's what we like to hear.
So what was your first strain in there?
Oh, good question.
In the soil.
Yeah.
That was Pineapple Express from G13 Labs.
Okay.
And yeah, that was one cut was a little bit lazy, but it's still still a good smoke. The second cut was a pretty heavy yielder, very nice structure to her, and yeah, I've taken a few clones and shipped them off to a mate, and yeah, they're getting around the local area a bit now. So there's a few clones of Pineapple Express going around the local from me, which is good. It's good to see.
Lovely.
If
Lovely. I
ever I want
remember
to clone and run it again, it's there for the taking. So
that's what it's all about, isn't it?
yeah,
Keeping it alive.
100%. Yeah, and looking after the community while you're at it, like you're
Yep.
giving them something solid to add to the rotation,
yeah, that's right. And I don't really have a heap of space to be running like multiple tents with extra plants and mother plants and whatnot. So my mate, he's a bit more invested into it, so he's keeping a mother plant and sending clones off, which is good. It means somebody's keeping it alive and looking after it.
Yep.
Perfect. That's what we like to hear. Love that.
I remember one of my first ones was a pineapple one. It was the pineapple chunk from Barney's farm, and
Mm.
Oh yeah,
remember it till this day. I do like the pineapples.
yes, it's tasty. Bit of tropical.
Yep.
Yeah, especially when they express properly too. Like when that tropical pineapple translates into the smoke flavor and into the palate, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
And what's in there at the moment?
I got a bit of a mix. So I've got something a bit sort of new school, I guess, from Umami.
Oh, yeah.
I got their Kakashi in there, which I've been looking around and there's no real grow info out there on it. So it's a bit of an unknown for me, but it's seems to be sort of starting to take over the tent. I got Franco's Full Gas from Greenhouse is the other plant I'm running. So it's an Exodus cheese crossed with like a sherbet OG, I believe.
Okay.
And that's going pretty good too. But the Kakashi's starting to sort of take over. The Full Gas started out stronger, but yeah, the
Yep.
Umami sort of coming out on top in flower. I've just flipped them probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 days ago.
They've got a wild stretch on them, the Umami ones. So I think I got a bit
Yeah.
over 3 times with the Kem Kong.
Oh, yeah, it's a big stretch.
Oh, massive. But
I am
it,
slightly worried about tent space.
you become a bit of a genie, like a bit of a Houdini trying to bend things and poke them
And
up
and
through the
twist and
lights.
knuckle and
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
tying them
mate.
down so that they don't look the best, but you do what you can when you get that massive stretch in them.
That's right. And yeah, I've got them under a net at the moment. So any super cropping I got to do, I have to get in there and give them a bit of a bend over and see how we go.
Lovely.
In a super cropping, so I think you'll be right, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
And
A little
is there
bit of
any?
that controlled stress. They seem to love it. So
Mm.
I'll bring a couple of pictures in the chat for those listening along from tonight.
Is there any
beautiful.
smells coming out of the full gas yet? Are you getting any of that cheese in there, or?
Yeah, so the full gas, it's not really expressing itself heaps yet, but the old stem rub, you can definitely smell the cheese on her. The umami's very like it almost has like a tiger balm type smell to it, like very weird. Not really something I've smelt a whole lot of before, so but it's
I like that mentholy sort of Vicks Vapor Rub. Yeah, Tiger Balm.
yeah.
Mm.
It's very interesting.
I wonder how that's going to translate later into flour and like into into the smoke.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. I mean, their herp profiles on their website are quite a
Oh,
wild call.
Well, he
yeah.
talks. Yeah, he talks a big game on his terps and how loud they are, and
It's a bit of a
how
unit.
how how full of flavour everything is. So look, hopefully it holds up, and I'd love to see those claims stand up.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
it gets you second guessing yourself, doesn't it? Is it me? Have I done something wrong? Because I'm not getting leather bound books and rich mahogany.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel exactly what you're talking about. Um, Yeah, we'll see. He reckons lobsters and truffle butter or some shit
Yes.
like that, which But hey, I can't knock him till I've got to that point, so we'll see.
And
Definitely.
what tenner you got in there? Is that just a 4x4?
That's a 3x3. It's a little
3.
AC Infinity.
Yep.
Yeah, beautiful. Perfect size, really, for a home grower. I reckon it's enough to keep on rotation for most people.
Yeah, mate. And I'll never go. I'll never need as much as even I'm growing at the moment. For personal use. So it's more than enough for me.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good thing about being a home grower, though, isn't it? It's you have the bit of a selection at your hands. Um, if you're doing things correctly.
Yeah, 100%. That's kind of my sort of goal is to have a few jars stashed away that sort of got a bit of variety there. I can pick and choose and find what my favorite is. That's probably one of my main goals at the moment is trying to find something that I really, really enjoy.
Yep.
Okay, something that you just want to keep coming back to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are you leaning towards with that? Something like a gassy or an earthy or sweet?
Um, I well, it's kind of hard to say at the moment. I figured I'd try the cheese
Yep.
at the moment, but I I do enjoy sort of the gassier, sort of more diesel, I guess, smelling strains.
Yep.
I have a sour Zoda freebie that was from Umami too. So that's sour diesel crossed with their soda. It's supposed to be a bit of a sweeter, sort of diesely, gassy smell. So that might be something I look at in the future. But yeah, I'm still trying to find out what I enjoy. To be honest with you, like
Yeah, okay.
it's it's a bit, and I like a bit of variety too. Like you can't. I don't always love smoking the same thing every day, so something different to change it up's always good.
Something for every occasion, something for the morning, the evening.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's right.
sometimes there's nothing wrong with a bit of cheese in the afternoon, and you might start your day with a bit of candy or something. So yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed the Pineapple Express. That was a really good smoke from my last run. So I've had a few mates who've said that's some of the best gear they've ever smoked out the living soil. So yeah, it's good.
Lovely.
yeah. So that was going to be one of my next questions. Is there any cultivars that you think you're going to come back to? And sounds like that's going to be another one on rotation again at some point.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I also like I have that many sort of seeds now in my library that it's like it's so hard, you know. I do a grow, I'm like, oh man, do I grow this out next or that? And you're kind of flicking through, going, oh man, it's like the choices are endless, I suppose. And then you have a good cultivar like that Pineapple Express I ran last, and you're like, man, that was so good to grow. Like, do I go back to that and do another run, or
Yeah.
it should never end. And when you got all I got's a 3x3. Like, I'd love to run them all, but it's not practical, and I have no neat reason to. So run
Like
those
the
two
adults,
plants.
Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It is.
Got to pop them all.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, got to hunt them all. That's for sure.
yeah, it's a
Um,
game.
so mostly photos then, not so much autos.
Yeah, I've only ever grown one auto. I kind of struggle with it. It was Gorilla Skittles from Fast Buds. Um, that was in the V grow. It kind of struggled from a bit of heat stress, I think, and fox-tailed heaps.
Okay.
But yeah,
That
I've only
could
ever grown
be
the one auto.
genetic too. I'm not going to say that all of their stuff's horrible, but some of it is pretty rushed. So could have been that.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't sort of in the last few years, I haven't heard a whole lot of good about them. But I guess you get that with everyone.
Of course, yeah.
Um, but yeah, that ended up getting turned into some Feco, so it wasn't really worth smoking. So I did an extract on it with a mate.
Okay.
I'm just going to jump onto a question in the chat here about lemon strains, and have we seen any or grown any lemon forward strains? Super lemon haze is always a favourite. A good super lemon haze is always great, in my opinion.
Absolutely. It's a timeless classic.
Isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah,
I
it's one
did
I'd love to
try
give a crack.
I did try a double lemon pie by Dark Horse last run actually, but yeah, unfortunately they're all regular seeds and the whole lot of them were males, so they didn't see it through.
Oh, bugger!
Oh,
I was getting excited to hear how that profile turned out.
it's
Not a lot of
it's
luck in there, mate.
no, unfortunately not. But yeah, the lemon is just something else. The stem rum on it was amazing, and yeah, if I was breeding, it would have been definitely something worth keeping. But
Yeah, that was the first thought that ran through my head. I was like, oh, something I could chuck away in a tent somewhere. That's for sure. No, that's all right. Yeah, no, definitely. And lemon tree is also another favourite of mine, I reckon, for lemon forward strains.
yes,
I do,
it's
I
just
do.
very refreshing, isn't it?
It is. I do love a loud limonene, expression. It is
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah, for sure. They're probably one of my favourite terps for sort of a nice refreshing smoke.
Yeah, and it always seems to sort of express well and transfer to the palate well. So that's always nice, rather than just getting that bland sort of smoke.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, I agree.
All right. So your favourite plant you've ever grown? Let's go to that.
Or I grew it was a super skunk crossed with purple kush from an Aussie breeder. I think it was an F3, so he'd been working on it for a while.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
And that thing, it just was like short and squat, but Lord did it stack some buds on it. It was real sort of fat producer, very sticky. It stunk like my carbon filter was struggling to keep up with it. Yeah, very loud strain, and like any mate who I gave it to, I had to tell him, like go easy on it because it'll have you on the couch, sort of locked out. But that was probably my favorite plant, and probably a real good one for me. Like I work a lot of night shifts, and I sort of struggle with sleep, so to something to knock me out and keep me asleep all night, that was unreal. That was a good plant.
Beautiful.
Looking to level up your garden? Highlight Australia has you covered. As the premier hydroponics and grow equipment supplier in the Asia Pacific, Highlight services growers across Australia and New Zealand with trusted gear, premium products, and the brands serious cultivators rely on. From lighting and nutrients to tents, propagation, ventilation, and complete grow solutions, Highlight is built for growers who want results. And now, Terpene Table and WRC Legends get 5% off every order. Head to highlight.com.au and use code WRCCrew at checkout. Highlight Australia. Grow smarter, grow stronger.
Yeah, it's always good something for the occasion, isn't it? When you find something that does the job like that and does put you to sleep, you're onto a winner.
Definitely. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
always
for
good to
sure.
have that jar of sleep medicine sitting on to the side. Yeah.
100%. And the edibles have been a bit of a thing for me for a bit of night shift recovery too. They're definitely got a bit longer lasting. Help me keep asleep longer.
Yeah, a lot of people do find that having a nice dose of edibles sort of half an hour before bed, and they seem to sleep really, really well.
Yeah, yep. No, it's good gear.
Yeah, helps you wake up refreshed. Sorry, John, go ahead.
No,
Man.
what's going in the tent next run? Have you got a plan to go through, or?
Yeah, look, I've sort of playing with a few things at the moment. So I've sort of mentioned that Sour Zoda before. That's sort of a contender. I have some Girl Scout cookies that I really want to try. Probably not going to go in the same time as the Sour Zoda just because the stretch difference would be a bit crazy, I think.
Yep.
I have Velvet Moon from Greenhouse as well. That's one that's on the list, and I have Sugarcane from In-House, which is supposed to be super frosty. I'd sort of love to get into a bit of rosin pressing, but we'll see. I'm still sort of weighing up between those four at the moment, so it's going to be one of each. So I run my 2 pots, 2 different strains, but yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm going to have to give a vote to that In-House sugarcane.
Yes, that does sound good.
Yeah, it looks very frosty from a lot of pictures I've seen. I guess a bit of a pheno hunt, but yeah, it could be a good yielder and nice and frosty.
Yeah, I've previously grown out some of its lineage, and I was very impressed. So,
Oh, Roger. Oh, we got a vote there. That's good.
yeah. I've got another one for you, mate. Why do you when it comes down to it? Why do you grow? Is it for the smoke, for the hobby, or the meditation, or just for all of it?
Probably my favorite part of it nowadays is actually growing the plants. As I said before, I kind of with work and whatnot, sometimes I struggle to sort of actually sit down and enjoy and smoke it. But like just the sort of the nice smells and aromas when you're in the tent, like tinkering away. It's something to be proud of too. Like you go in there and you look at them all happy and healthy, and you're like, oh man, look at these plants. But
Good plant parent, yeah.
Yeah, like I've done a good job with this. That's kind of my enjoyment for it at the moment. And
Very therapeutic.
yeah, and being in the community and stuff as well, like talking to people about it. Like you get people messaging me and chatting away, and in the discords and whatnot. It's always good fun too. So
Absolutely, it's a great community, isn't it?
yeah, like obviously you got outliers everywhere you go, and you won't get along with everyone you meet. But for the most part, like most people who are actually interested in their home grows, or interested in the plants themselves for the bit of the love of it, they're always good to get along with.
100%.
Yeah, very well said, mate. Very well said. I'd have to agree 100% with that.
Yeah, it's the smaller guys out there doing it for themselves that are the best.
Yeah, doing it for the love of it, doing it because they want to, not for any other reason.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
And what do you think of the AC Infinity? Is that their light in the tent as well?
Yeah, it's their full setup.
Okay.
It's been really good gear. I can't fault any of it. It's a bit pricey, I guess. Like,
Yep.
I don't know if I would have spent that much if I was going for something bigger. Like their sort of pricing scale jumps up pretty quick. But like I can't knock it at all. It's been good. I've not had a single drama with none of it. The controller's real good. Um, yeah, no, it's
How
good.
long have you been running that particular setup for?
This is my second grow on it, so not heaps long, not
Okay.
very long at all. Probably, I don't know, 8 months, 9 months worth.
Yep.
Yep.
So it's hard to comment on the longevity of it so far, I suppose. But no, yeah, no dramas at all.
And what about before that? Were you HPS or LED?
Only ever grown LED.
Okay.
Sort of my local hydro store. I had some Digilumen. I think there were 300 or 400 watters in my old
Yep.
setup. And they were all right. I didn't really have too many dramas in them. It's just, yeah, I ended up selling that setup to a mate. I had a bit of a break from growing,
Yep.
and yeah, when I come back into it, I went for the all-out Rolls-Royce AC Infinity kit.
I'm actually running the Digilumen, the 720s.
Oh yeah, yep. Is it the Halo series? Like
You've
the
got
the
me there.
bar the bar lights or something?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That it'd have been from the same line then, I reckon.
They're a good light. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about those lights.
Yeah. They're doing me well, and a third of the price.
Yeah, that's right. They're they're good value for money.
Yeah, I think the output's there. The spectrum seems to be there. Yeah, I think they got it pretty nailed, to be honest. Yeah, and the price point is, yeah, you can't really beat it for that stepping up a class from your Mars and Spider Farmer stuff, you know.
100%. Like I went to my sort of local hydro spot a few days ago, and they had some Digilumen 400 watts. I think they were $175
Mm.
for a 400-watt bar light. Like it doesn't get much better than that for value for money.
Yeah, that's it. And they've got to be making their cut on that too. So, you know, that's even not going direct from supplier. So you look at that compared to like your Spider Farmers and things.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
You love it. We had in the chat there, sorry guys, Lumitech. What's our thoughts on Lumitech? John, you got any thoughts on Lumitech?
I still do actually. I have a Lumitech for my underlighting in one of the tents.
Ooh, okay. For
Yeah.
your under canopy. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, one of their bars. It's very good. It got a nice spectrum and does well. I do rate it.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've had the pleasure of sampling some of your stuff, and I was quite impressed with it. So, you know, I think your lighting must be doing its job. So,
Thank you. Yeah, it's they are very expensive for what they are though. But yeah, it's really like Holden
one of
and
those
Ford
things.
and Toyota and Kia and everything, isn't it? It's
That is.
personal preference.
And I guess, like, if you can afford it, why not, sort of thing. Like, if it's not going to break your budget, then probably not worth it. I mean, probably worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had any experience with them. I can't really comment. I do like the idea of under canopy lighting though. That's sort of something I wouldn't mind adding in the future.
You can do it pretty cheaply too these days as well.
Yeah, for sure. There's a few good
Yeah,
options out there.
absolutely. It's amazing, like the difference with the what used to be laugh underneath to being usable now, and it just gets a lot more trichlomes on it, and yeah, I don't think I'll do a run without it.
I do
That's good to
find
hear.
the funniest thing to me is when you first sort of switch over to under canopy is watching how those lowers behave.
Mm,
And they turn ugly, I reckon, for such a period of time because the way they're looking for the light.
yes.
Yeah, right.
So that, that does freak a lot of people out because the underneath canopy does look quite ugly. You got leaves that twist in all different directions, and
Yeah, I had that a lot at the start, and then I tinkered around a little bit, and then I end up now having my under canopy come on an hour after the top lights and turn off sort of half an hour before the top lights turn off. So it keeps that atypical dominance in it, I think, and keeps them pointed up. And I just think, yeah, it shortens the DLI a little bit underneath and
yep,
gets them looking a bit nicer.
I like that. I like that approach to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably find they get that they're looking up through the canopy a lot more rather than down and around it unnaturally. Yeah.
And starting off low, like I think I was, what was I at? I think about 300 ppfd, like real low, and then start bringing it up through your weeks of flower, and then same thing, tapering it off.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'll have to look into for sort of future grows. I do a lot of
Highly
lollipopping
recommended.
myself, so I pull a lot of that sort of lower stuff off for a lot of my grows, and if I can keep a bit more and get a bit of weight on it, then it might be worthwhile.
That's the good thing about being just a personal use home grower as well, as if you've got too much, you can really manipulate the look of that plant and just save your big nice tops and do
Yeah,
a
that's right.
solid lollipopping on them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
for
still a
sure.
big fan of lollipop, and I still lollipop quite heavily.
Yep.
Yeah, it ends up being a pain in the ass trying to trim some of that lower laugh off and whatnot, especially when it's not worth the effort.
No.
Nobody wants to be in trim gel for longer than they have to be.
No, and if we can focus that plant's energy a bit further up, then those heads are going to benefit a bit more from it as well.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Definitely. All right, I got one more for you, I think, pretty much.
Yeah. Yep.
What would you say to someone sitting on the fence about growing their first plant?
Give it a crack. Like it's not as intimidating as you sort of think it is when you first start out. Don't baby them, like they're fairly easy growing from my point of view. Like they have their niches and whatnot, especially if you're new to growing plants or whatnot. But yeah, just give it a crack. Like it's not that hard. There's plenty of resources out there. There's YouTube. There's like all the Discords. There's forums for it. If you ever get stuck, there's normally someone out there willing to sort of give you a bit of a pointer.
Yeah, well said,
Absolutely.
mate.
And what about just continuing on that one? Would you recommend that they went a photo period or an auto? I know that you've only had a little sort of experience with them, and
Um,
yeah,
yeah, like I think photos are a bit more forgiving for your first grow. Like you can make mistakes, and keep that light cycle 18:6 and just give them more time to recover. If you stuff something up, it's not the end of the world. Whereas your autos, you kind of want it dialed from the start. Otherwise, you're going to end up with, like you say you stall it out and, you've caused yourself some issues in there. Like you might end up with, two buds left on your plant at the end.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not a green thumb at all, you recommend sort of starting with a photo period.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you're a bit experienced and you know what you're doing, you can definitely give autos a crack. They definitely have their place, I think. But yeah, for me, I think photos are probably your easiest starting point, personally.
And would you consider growing any more, putting them in with the photo lineup to do a side
Yeah,
by side grow or a separate grow or
I'm not opposed to the idea. Um, I don't have anything against autos myself. They're definitely, like I said, they have their place, and there's some good stuff coming out. Like a lot of Mephisto's gear, Night Owl seem to be pretty popular at the moment. I see a lot of good grows coming out of autos, and some absolute monsters, like some of those Dutch passion plants I've seen that are auto have
hmm
been absolutely ginormous. So yeah, they're definitely out there and they're viable. They're good. Yeah, be a good little project one day. But at the moment, I'm kind of locked in on photos. For me, they just sort of suit me, and
Yep.
for the fact I'm still sort of playing around with this living soil thing and sort of getting my head around it a bit more.
Get
It'd probably be
comfortable
what
with
I
it.
stick
Yep.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So, what's next? What's the next plans for your garden? Have you got any plans on extending, or is there anything you want to change in the garden, setup wise?
Not particularly. I think environment's probably my biggest thing, trying to, balance out your temperature and humidity and whatnot. But having said that, I got a pretty decent setup now. I can't complain too much. My house when I bought it, the old owner he was a mushroom grower, but like the not the fun kind. He was just a little mushroom farmer. So he built a little room in the garage, which is all insulated and sealed in and weatherboard and that, so you can wash it down if you want. Um, and
Oh
it's
wow.
insulated, so I just have a little heater in there or reverse cycle in there, and yeah, it sort of keeps my environment pretty good. I've kind of bagged out with that in that regard.
I reckon, yeah, you've done
Yeah.
really well.
And what are you going to do amendment wise at the end of this run here? Do you pull it all out and shake the root ball out? Or are you just going to top dress this one at the end for another veg run?
No, I'll probably pull the pots out and probably empty them out into a big tub. Give them, a big whack of worm castings and throw a heap of dry amendments in there and sort of build them back up. Get them cooking, ready for the next grow. I think is the plan.
Yep. A bit of a cook. You let it cook for a couple of weeks or straight back into it.
Yeah, no, I'll let them go for a couple of weeks. I'm not a sort of straight in and out type grower. Like I'll have my plants hanging in my tent,
Ah,
drying. So that's when
okay.
I'll start amending the soil, getting that ready, and I'll start my seedlings off sort of once those plants are drying. So there's no real, no big rush. Like I'm not. There doesn't have to be something in my tent the next day, sort of deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Being a single tent grower, I guess it gives you time to sort of unpack, clean up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
In between runs and yeah, all of that.
And I always end up with more than I'll ever know what to do with. So yeah, it's not like I'm desperate for the next grow to get going.
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't touch on?
I mean, not particularly. Like, unless you got more questions about blue mat system or anything along those lines. Like yeah, no, I'm pretty happy, mate. Has
Sweet.
anybody
I've
listening along got questions?
John's
I've got
got
one
something.
with the blue mats. Have you got the is that the blue mat ring with your dripper as well?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it is. So I looked at. I think they do like a drip tape version, or you can just feed
Yep.
that 3 mil line straight into the base of your plants, I guess. Or yeah, the feed ring and that kind of drips all around. It's pretty solid. I do give it a good clean up after every grow. Stop it getting gunked up. Um, I use the maxi blue mats, like the big long ones. So I'm reading
Yeah.
sort of the
Yep.
soil moisture real deep. Obviously
Okay.
bigger pots. I'd rather sort of be reading down the bottom.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, get your reading from around the root zone.
yeah, that's right. Probably the biggest mistake I made when I first set them up is you sort of set your anybody who hasn't run them before probably won't know what I'm talking about. But you set your hang and drip and then sort of take it a couple of clicks back and um, if you set them up sort of straight out of, so you're supposed to soak them in water before you, like the whole thing has to be
Yep.
submerged and full of water before you set them. Yeah, yeah. Um, and if you put them straight in the pots and try calibrate them straight away, like you lose a lot of that moisture to the soil, and the valve's constantly open and it just floods the tent. So you gotta sit them in the soil and let them just get their bearings together for sort of half hour before you go trying to set any of those like valve positions up.
Okay.
Okay. And do you have the blue mat tension, like the soil tension meter to run with it and calibrate it off that, or do you just go straight for the blue mat dripper?
Yeah, I don't have it. It's definitely something I'd like to add at some stage. But I kind of just go off a feel, like where they are at the moment. I can feel like one day I'll go in there and they'll have been doing a bit of a dry back, and then you can feel the next day you go in, oh yeah, the blue mat's open and
Yep.
it's been given the soil a good old water. Yeah, it's once you got it set, like I said, they're real easy once they're set. You just set and forget, don't think about it. But getting them set up's the hard bit.
Yeah.
So you haven't run into any maintenance issues yet?
Nah, no clogged lines or whatnot. I run RO water through them because
Oh, wow.
our tap water here is pretty average. Like the EC out my tap is 0.8, like straight out the tap, so it's pretty hard water. So yeah, I run RO water.
Okay.
I also get a few questions from people about like running nutrients through them and whatnot, and it's not something I played with. And from what I've looked into, it's not a great idea. It can clog those lines up real easy. They're only tiny, like 3 mil lines. That
Yeah.
there's no space in there for any salts or anything to build up.
Do you pH your RO water, or what's that'd come out neutral then?
Yeah, I don't bother pHing. It generally comes out. I mean, it depends on water supply, around 6.2 to 6.5
Yep.
on the pH scale. So it's not terrible. Through the filter at least.
No, that's
Um,
good for soil.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I was going to say it's perfect for your soil inputs. Yeah.
Yeah, I was always sort of, from what I've been told, you don't have to pH so hard with your living soil. It kind of buffers it itself from my experience.
Yes, that's what I've found as well. It just depends on what input you're putting in. If you're mixing anything in and you're going to continuously do it, and
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yeah, and how long that's taking to break down and things like that. You might get a build up of something if you're not careful. But
Oh, for sure. There's still your salts and whatnot in whatever you feed it, whether it's organic or synthetic. You're gonna have a bit of salt
exactly,
in there.
they still eat the same way.
Yeah, that's right.
They don't care.
we've got a good question there. Drew. We got any
Did see
tips
that.
from us on popping an old seed that increases the chance for them?
Yep.
What's one from you?
My
Good.
my first tip would be to take your nail clippers out
Hmm.
and just gently clip off the tip of that seed. Not at the base where it's flat and where it's been where it's disconnected from the plant itself, but the sharper pointed tip. Just a gentle tip there, and if you're just taking that edge off the shell, the embryo inside is going to remain perfectly intact.
Yeah, that is a good one for the older seeds. So 'cause they seem to dry out a lot, don't they, when they get a bit older, and just that water doesn't penetrate, and it's just the next step after that scarification, nearly.
Exactly, yeah. Sometimes scarification, you might just be sort of wasting a seed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like if you're at that stage where you're already struggling for them to crack, and they're not uptaking any moisture. You can try germinating in a slightly warmer scenario, but again, you're risking that mold as well,
Yep.
or the embryo breaking down inside the casing of the seed and not being able to breathe and crack. So yeah, to me that's my most solid tip, and I think if you think it's an old seed and you're struggling with it, I think just go for that.
Yep. I've got a one that I go to a little bit when they've been in the fridge for a little while is your filtered water. So you remove all the chlorine and chloramine
Chloramines.
out of it, and
Yep.
all of the C's out of it, and use some wood ash in there. Just a little bit of. I'll make a little fire and get some nice grass and just your twigs going and wash that through into the water. It's
Okay.
I do. It's yeah, it works surprisingly well.
Yeah, I could imagine it actually would. You'd be introducing a lot of like natural microbes and things like that, which would probably break down the outer casing of that shell. Probably
There's
Yeah.
there is a chemical, but it's like the indigenous grass trees and everything. It just signals something in there that the danger's over and it's time to sprout.
that's what I mean. Like the season's passed, and it's sort of be something in there triggering something. That'd be interesting to know, to dive into a bit more.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder how much info's out there on that sort of thing.
There's must got to be someone that's done the science behind it. We're gonna
Yeah.
have to have a dig around now. You've got my curiosity piqued there, John.
It's it's talked about in the Jadam and the KNF circles, and
Yep. Well, KNF is Korean Natural Farming, for those that don't know. Yep.
Yeah, it's not a that's not something I ever would have thought of, to be fair. It's some good advice there.
Yeah, and like someone just said in the chat that the bush always springs back after a fire. Like it forces a lot of things to crack open and things like that. So I guess that wood ash would have a similar interaction. Yeah, I like it.
what about you, architect? Have you got anything?
Um, Probably nothing that's not really common knowledge. I try to keep them nice and warm, I guess. Like sort of some nice warm water goes in there when I first pop the seeds in their little. I put them in shot glasses myself. And then try sort of either sit them on a heat mat or keep them somewhere nice and warm. So that 23, 25 degrees ish. Keep that water going.
Okay.
I've sanded back seeds before to try and get them going. A little bit of emery paper or whatnot, but nothing probably that's new to this area.
Yeah, beautiful. Still good to hear though. Still good to hear what your thoughts are on it.
The
Now,
it's carricins that are in the smoky water. So your wood ash. It's a chemical compound that's K K2CO3.
Okay. Writing that down now. K2CO3.
There you go.
I'm going to dive into that a bit after this.
He's doing his research already.
Oh, rabbit holes, mate. I go down them really hard, unfortunately.
I feel you.
Absolutely.
That's all right. All right, Arka. If you want to be found, where can people find you floating around the Discords?
Yeah, mostly around the Discords. Obviously, being the space we're in, I try to keep it a bit separate from my real life. But you won't find me on Instagram or nothing. I'm not around there. If you're
Beautiful.
floating around some of the Aussie Discords, you might see my name popping around. I'm always up for a message. If anybody's got questions, I'm keen to have a yarn and talk about the plant and growing living soil and whatever else you want to talk about. I'm always happy to have a yarn. So yeah,
There
if
you
not,
go. If you recognise the name around the Discords, the local Aussie Discords, feel free to say hi to the bloke.
yep, perfect.
Love it. Love it, mate. All right. Well, I think that pretty much brings us to the end of this A Chat with a Gardener with our first episode. So, ArkaTek, thank you very much, mate, for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
It's been good to have a
thank you.
yarn. And yeah. See a few familiar faces in the chat, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. So yeah, I'm always around the place.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Good to hear. John, thank you again, mate, for joining us and jumping in on
pleasure.
this one. Beautiful. And if you guys want to get involved into some of these live recordings and things like that, search us up on YouTube or wherever you're listening, and reach out there, and we can point you in the right direction to come and join some of these live recordings. Unfortunately, due to the way things are lately in and amongst some of the community, we are trying to keep these Discords a little bit privater, so I won't be advertising public links to it.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing, but that's the way things go, eh?
It is, but unfortunately, if you're meant to be here, you'll find your way here. Let's say that.
Good call. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So thank you everyone for joining us, and this was the Terpene Table.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Enjoy your night.
You too.
And just like that, that's it for this session at the Terpene Table. Cheers for pulling up a chair and tuning in. If you like the yarn, share it with your crew, leave a review. Until next time, keep it lit, keep it grounded, and keep gardening.
We are more than growers, we're carving the way. Movements and legacies rise.